Hi, I'm Benjamin Temple. This is my video of the S2686 steam turbine locomotive by Broadway Limit. You've already seen this, but we've doing this because we've got it fixed. So Broadway Limit, I reached out to them, I don't know, Monday, Tuesday of last week. They sent me an email returned that I should receive the part by Friday, and I did, but due to working, I didn't have time to work on it until Saturday. I was tired, so I started on a Sunday, and I ran into some problems. I broke the wires off, and this is the reason I'm making this video. So, just as a precaution to people that may be like me that like to work on things, when you take it apart, for instance, when you take the truck apart, the screws and any washers, springs, do that first and then take photos of all the parts that go to that. And same when you take the smoke box door off, do that and then take a photo of all the parts. And this way you can label those photos and save you the trouble. So the trouble I made was there's a long screw and it got confused for the screw that goes to the truck, but unfortunately it wasn't. It's a screw that goes here to the, so within there is a weight. I'm guessing zinc being they don't allow lead. Of course this came from China, so maybe it's still a lead weight, but that weight has a groove in it, or a slot should I say really, and it requires a long screw that screws up there to hold it into place, and then a small screw, so that's something you want to be careful. And the truck doesn't have one of those screws that has like a built-on washer, or an extended head with a plate, kind of like a flathead that would hold. You need a clear washer and to hold the truck from coming through, the screw from coming through, allowing it to maneuver in that slot. And in the process, the smoke control board goes in that slot. That's the lead weight that's right about here approximately on the bottom side. And that's another tricky thing when you go to put it on. There's space, so when you do this, my recommendation is to put it in the cradle with the clear plastic that it comes in to set in, the showcase, or we won't call it, but best thing is to do that so that you don't damage the locomotive, because there's one or two places of scrape that you're probably not going to notice unless you pick up the engine and look at it real closely. And also there's some plastic tubing, which is called probably the tubing to the after cooler, to getting back some of the steam, just kind of like on the big boy that's on the other side. I don't think it's on this side, but anyhow, you must watch out for that. I knocked that off and had to super glue that, which the first time I did a really good job, you wouldn't even notice any of the glue. Unfortunately, there's some glue buildup. Maybe I should have taken a screwdriver and scraped that off, but I didn't want to take a chance of scraping or scratching the engine. So, but I have some engine black paint, which I painted. But, so the smoke control board, when you take it apart, take a photo of it, because it's got several, quick disconnect plugs, 4 pins, 5 pins, something like that. It's all wrapped really neat, and it's got tape that goes around to hold it into place. That was my mistake, and it's kind of real tricky to figure out which wires go which. It is important because the smoke unit is put on a board and a metal plate that sticks out past that lead weight that's screwed on, and then the smoke unit screwed on, and there's barely enough space with the wire that they leave you to connect to the smoke control board. plus the lights. The front headlight is wired through that, and the power that goes into the smoke unit board comes from the locomotive. So you have to make sure it's all in place. And I wanted to fire this up and show you that it now works. So yeah, I probably got a dirty spot on my track. It's done that a couple times now, but as far as I know of, everything's in good. And the smoke unit is working now, although it's a little slow on smoking, which is unusual, but maybe it does need to build up. I don't know. It really smokes good once you get it to working, but again, so see, you can hear the bell, the whistle. If you have it moving, the couple ear connection or disconnection. It's smoking really good. Yeah, it's smoking. Just doesn't seem like it, but there you go. Now you can see it. So it does take a little bit. I think even in actuality, the big boy takes a little bit too. But I thought it was much faster than this. But 5 minutes go by, and the front headlight does work, and the cab interior light comes on. Well, I didn't have any problems in the get-go anyhow, but the red light comes on. One thing I'm disappointed in Broadway for this expensive locomotive is the lights for the front here, these marker lights, don't actually light up, and I don't think they did in the get-go either. I don't see any wiring to them, so I actually use an LED light board to make that back, the 2 red lights and the backup light to come on in the first place. If they look like they're lit up, at least these front marker lights, is because of light emitting. They're kind of like a jewel diamond type thing. But see, the smoke unit does work. It just takes a bit to get going. Maybe that's something that's malfunctioning too. I don't know, but it really does work now. So, and as long as it stays on and works and it doesn't malfunction after 5 minutes, I'm happy with that. I'm not going to ask for another replacement part or send it down to get fixed once again, but I just didn't want some other people to have the same issue that I had. So when you take it apart, you'd say, well, what an idiot. I mean, didn't you read the diagram? Well, if you've got this engine, then you know that it didn't come with a schematic or diagram of the engine and how it comes apart and where all the screws are at. I mean, if it had that, I wouldn't have that problem in the first place. I just got out the schematic, found where the long screw was supposed to went, and put it into place. But I also lost the small washer, which something I caution people about. They're clear and they're a real challenge. Even if you put it in front of you on a table, you might not see it. So make sure that when you take it apart, get some little baggies. That's what I did. Even that didn't solve my problem. Obviously I got one screw mixed up, so take photos and put them in baggies. That's what I did. I put the truck screws and washers and springs into one bag. I took the boiler screws and put them in another bag, and the smoke box / headlight and all that in another. And actually I didn't
I think I might have put the the board and the smoke unit itself in that same bag. But I didn't take out the weight and all that until later, because when the part arrived I realized that it wasn't replacing the smoke unit, which smoke control board, I should have known that, but like I say, I didn't have a schematic, so I don't know what's what, other than from experience I knew what the smoke unit itself was. Also, when you put it back together, I'd say there's space and you turn it upside down, you really need to have it like this and put the screws in on the bottom and carefully put something in to hold them. But there's a rubber piece that kind of seals between the boiler and the smoke unit itself. You want to make sure you get that in there when you're sliding it in there, so you want to check and make sure it's not in there, because it'll keep your smoke fluid from leaking down inside the engine and possibly shorting something out. So I just thought I'd do this video for my viewers. I hope you like. I've run it full throttle, and yes, it runs pretty decent. No, I don't have any passenger cars, not in Pennsylvania. So also I might ask my viewers, you know, obviously with me being a railroad guy, I can look it up for myself, but what cars would you pull behind this Pennsylvania Railroad? Would you get like sleepers and coaches? Obviously the Pennsylvania Tuscan red colored cars, I would think, but just what would you recommend? You know, would you go back to the heavyweight? I think this is a 1945 or 44 locomotive was the year it came out. Forgive me, I have looked it up, but I don't remember all the specs on it. So anyhow, thanks. I hope you enjoyed my video. I hope you didn't find it boring, and any recommendations, please hit the subscribe button to my channel if you like it. And if you don't like it, please give me recommendations what you think would make my videos better. Thanks. Take care. Bye-bye.